Audio Jungle.
Good morning and welcome to On the Spot News headlines on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Mchaka and let's take a look at the news making the headlines. ZEC demands vote rigging proof. Calls for another ZEC mobile registration blitz increases. Ideas Party for Democracy leader calls for dialogue. Parliamentarians and female politicians endorsed the draft model, gender equality bill, and memorandum of principles. And in sports, Dimbare brace for Boso battle. Now for the news in detail.
Audio Jungle.
The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, has demanded proof of how it rigs elections, describing it as Bartok allegations that it manipulates the results in favor of the ruling ZANU-PF party. Addressing political parties at a youth caucus peace building meeting hosted by 4H Zimbabwe Foundation in Harare yesterday, ZEC spokesperson Jasper Mangwana said political players must bring substantive evidence to show something was not done right. He said there is a provision of the Electoral Court in the Electoral Act where all these matters should be taken. He added that political actors were the same people sending voters away. Mangwana said elections end with V11s, adding that all the other issues about favor and malpractices are just bar talk without proof. He added that if anyone had issues with an electoral process, they must go back and sort it out in parliament because ZEC does not make laws. Meanwhile, the citizens have implored the Electoral Commission to conduct another mobile voter registration blitz to capture people who failed to register in the first and second phases of the exercise. This was said by Ekaya Vote 2023, a coalition of over 30 civil society organizations in Ulawayo and Matabeleland provinces. This follows complaints that people failed to register during the two phases because they had no national identity document. Ekaya Vote 2023 has urged the Registrar General's office to deploy more personnel at outreach centers to deal with long queues and issues of limited numbers of citizens' documents processed on a daily basis. That has reportedly slowed down the process. Little known opposition Ideas Party for Democracy IDP President Herbert Chamuka has warned that Zimbabwe Defense Forces Commander Valerio Sibanda might step in to save the losing ruling ZANU-PF party if it loses the crunch 2023 general elections. Speaking to journalists, Chamuka said the only possible option for Zimbabwe to get back on a path to development was dialogue, which would mean a suspension of elections for 3 years. Chamuka added that citizens must not be too confident of an opposition win, saying ZANU-PF will have the backing of the army. Chamuka dismissed President Emerson Mnangagwa's political leaders and actors dialogue Pollard platform as a congregation of poor men who just wanted to eat after he was quizzed on why a new dialogue initiative was necessary. The platform has since ceased to meet despite millions having been poured into its operations and packs that included flights to accompany Mnangagwa and top of the range vehicles at taxpayers' expenses. Parliamentarians and female politicians yesterday endorsed the draft model gender equality bill and memorandum of principles that were presented by the Institute for Young Women's Development, IWED. The model seeks to modify the implementation of Section 56 of the Constitution, which speak about gender equality and non-discrimination. Speaking at a women's political parties convergence workshop in partnership with Women and Law in Southern Africa and Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe in Kadoma, IWID team leader Gladys Changa Chirere said the model is a template which has not been passed into law, but the government can use it as a new gender law. The template provides a framework in terms of the mechanism that the government needs to put in place. In her solidarity remarks, Fungai Chiwere, who is the Director for Legal Services in the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, said national gender machineries are a strongest mechanism for a coordinated approach to advancing gender equality. A national gender policy is in place to provide for the allocation of resources and the requisite support for the implementation of policies, programs, and projects that create equality and equity between women and men. Now we turn to entertainment news. Award winning Afro contemporary group Fusion 5. Mangwiro has dropped a single as a gift for all mothers on the occasion of celebrating Mother's Day, commemorated every first Sunday of May. The 3-minute song, which was produced by Gilbert Guatizo Boss Giza and Big Boy Bits under Image Records, features Michael Mahendere and is centered on appreciating mothers for carrying a child for 9 months without tiring. Mama is opened by Guatizo, who appreciates the love and sacrifices made by his mother from the womb until he grew to be the man that he is. You definitely must find that song and play it. Now we turn to sport news. Dynamo's coach Tonderain Diraya says motivation should not be a problem for his players as they warm up for the big match against old rivals Highlanders at the weekend. The Harare Giants were held to a frustrating draw by basement side Bulawayo City on Sunday, missing the opportunity to extend their lead at the top of the log standings to 4 points. The former midfielder admitted that he found it difficult to motivate his high flying team for the match against Bulawayo City.
Audio Jungle.
And now to end this news bulletin, here are the stories making the headlines. ZEC demands vote rigging proof. Calls for another ZEC mobile voter registration blitz. Ideas Party for Democracy IDP leader calls for dialogue. Parliamentarians and female politicians endorse the draft model gender equality bill and memorandum of principles. And in sports news, Dimbare brace for Boso battle. Thank you so much for joining us for our news bulletin right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Pleasant viewing and have a good day. Bye bye.
Audio Jungle.